Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year, and welcome to the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by AMG Logistics. I'm Paul Hipkiss, and tonight I'm joined by Mark Adams.
Good evening, everybody. Good to be back. Hope everyone had a nice Christmas and New Year.
Claire Giblin.
Good evening.
Craig Courtney.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy Blue Nose New Year.
The Chairman, Alan Watson.
Good evening, everybody, and again, a very happy New Year to everybody.
The main man, Chris Brown.
Good evening and a Happy New Year.
And former Blues goalkeeper, I'm delighted to say, we're joined tonight by a very special guest and one of Harry Redknapp's very few signings of the 2017 transfer window, the one and only Mr. David Stockdale.
Hi guys, Happy New Year.
And you, mate, and you. So yeah, we'll kick off. We'll throw straight into the festive period. So 5 games for Blues since we were last on here, and 3 wins and 2 draws, and a pretty good time, Claire. Not too bad overall, was it, those 5 games? And obviously I know you got very wet at Stockport in particular, didn't you?
Yeah, I think 5 games in 13 days wasn't just hard for the players. I think for the travelling fans, I mean, we've been up and down the country following them, had a few home games as well. Really pleased that we haven't lost a game.
Yeah, me too.
I think if we said at the start, don't lose, get 3 wins and 2 draws, I think we would have said yeah. I think going on to the Wigan game, because obviously that was the closest one. I mean, finally, Ethan Laird showed all my commitment and all my hard work in saying how good he is. Finally came true. He's been, those final balls have finally got into the box and we got some assists. So I thought he was sensational on Saturday. I thought Alfie May was brilliant as well. I know he hasn't rested a lot of players, but I think it just showed how good our squad is, because I know that a few of us on here, we saw the team for Wigan and we were like, oh no, what's going to happen here? And they proved us all wrong. So 3-0, brilliant away. Stockport wasn't great. Who builds a stand without a roof? I have no idea. And the fact that they let their home fans sit there as well, no idea why they do that either. It was very cold, it was very wet. I know that a lot of people have said about the atmosphere, but when most of the Blues fans are either hungover on New Year's Day and soaking cold, like soaking wet, freezing cold, we did try as much as we can, but I'm really pleased with it. I think Crawley, again, we were good. We scraped it there as well. So, I think we're on the rise. We're doing okay.
Yeah, and we obviously, Alan, we burst the Burton bogey as well, didn't we? As you called it before Christmas.
Did we? Because I want to know who's the dickhead who thought it was a good idea to set fireworks and smoke bombs off in a pea soup fog. And that was, goodness me! Honestly, I saw about half that game. Down towards the Tilton, the Cattle Road corners, it used to be. I couldn't see. I was watching in the second half, and still that smoke hadn't gone. And I looked and I thought, oh, get your crossing. And then somebody ran and got the ball on the left wing. It was shocking.
It reminded me in Stockdale. I think you played in this game against Hull when it was just you couldn't see it. I don't know if you could see anything coming towards the ball. Yeah,
the 3-0.
I remember it. Yeah.
I mean, it was snow, I know, and this was obviously fog and fireworks smoke, but it just reminded. I don't know why, it just came to my mind because you just couldn't see anything on that game either, really, could you?
I'm glad that's from there.
Nobody could hear you. We won 3-0, and Hodger had the game of his life, didn't he? If I remember. So, but I think as well, top of the show, it's only right to send our best wishes and love on to Lee Buchanan as well from after his horrific injury against Blackpool at home, and I hope to see him back in the blue shirt as soon as possible because he's a very, very good player and a quality player, and hopefully, it doesn't affect his career too much when he starts to get onto the road to recovery from that, because it was a pretty bad injury. Did you see Stocko at all?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, as soon as the face that you pull, like the grim face, especially being a footballer yourself, you never want to see anybody at all. You can have all your rivalries, but in any sport, not just football, but you don't want to see it. And like you say, I hope he gets back soon, and fingers crossed it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it didn't look good.
No.
I know it's a bad, because Chris Davies said it's a very bad knee injury. He's definitely out for the season. So,
Yeah.
and I think his contract's up after this season, isn't it? So hopefully we renew it and he can make his way back into our team as the, and he's the player that he was, because in those couple of appearances he made, he obviously managed to score as well, didn't he, against Bristol Rovers? So hopefully, we can see him in the blue shirt again, because he's a very good player.
I think that's the only thing you can hope. And speaking of how I see the Blues now, I think that's what they will do. The people upstairs and who's running things, they see the compassion, and it might be less and incentive based.
Yeah.
But giving that chance to have the access to the physios, and like you say, there's a player in there. So
yeah, there is a very good player in there, and I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? When you get a bad injury like that, it's being given the opportunity, isn't it, to come back as well from it.
It's so bad. It's so bad sometimes. Some of the things you might not have heard in football, but it happens, and basically it's, oh well, it's not our problem. We'll get somebody else. So I hope, and obviously because he can be a very good player.
Yeah.
That he gets his physio. I still know Hunty that's there now. He'll be with him.
Yeah.
And Pete. So look, I know he's got the best possible people. It's just like you say, it's got till the end of the season. Hopefully they get him somewhere near for pre-season, and he can at least stay there and show his worth.
Yeah. Fraser Higgins is just saying here that Buchanan has a 5-year contract, so apologies if I'm wrong about that. At the end of the season, his contract, so I could be wrong.
It was a 5-year deal.
Okay, so he's still got, how long is he? He was only here last season, wasn't he, as a signing? So he's got, in that case then, he's got 3 years to go after this season. So he's got plenty of time on his contract to come back then, which is in a way is great news.
It's actually better, because you don't want to. He will, if he was out of contract, he isn't now, we know, because rather than a training day, she's been doing research on Buchanan. But now they can really settle down, and he would have wanted to rush back if he was out of contract.
No.
And that's a bad thing for both parties. It doesn't look good on the physio department, even though the player wants to come back. So now they can really take the time, not rush it. You can get back in, and hopefully next season you're in the championship where it needs to be, and he gets a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a start Alfie May's had as well to 2025. That's 3 goals now in 2 games, and we got him back in that number 9, haven't we? And he's obviously showing why he should be there, isn't he, Craig?
Indeed. And it's he is the type of player that you only have to give him one chance, and he's putting them away. I mean, the weekend, that first strike was just pure goal-scoring instinct. There was nothing else to it. As soon as he dropped to him, the only place he was going to do was put that in the bottom corner. And you could tell from the point that it left his foot that that's where it was going. And I was right behind it, so it was absolute beauty to see. But his run also for the second goal and led, Claire's mentioned already, wow, that's his best game for the club. And an absolute mile. And, we want to see that every single game. We won't, because I don't think there's one player on the planet that consistently does exactly the same thing over and over again. So I don't think we'll see it necessarily all the time. But if we get that, 1 in every 2, 1 in every 3 games, we're laughing. But I've just seen a message on the board here, and I've got to read it out, because I never thought, and in fact, if I go back over the past 5 years, never have been able to say this. But if we now lose every single game for the rest of the season, we still wouldn't be relegated. How good is that?
I was waiting for something exciting.
And Pete Taylor, thanks for putting that out there, because we're already as high as anything on results. That just makes it even better when we think about the fact that we're looking at it in the past going, can we get 36 points? Can we get 38? Are we going to get it over the line?
Yeah.
So, no, and the other thing for Alfie Mack, and I've got to say at the weekend, he was pummeled by their defence, and they did every trick in the book, in fact, from a defender came out on him, I think, across the weekend. I loved his goal scorer's celebration, swinging around the pole and then to explain why he did that.
The napalm.
It's absolutely superb. And he, we all know part of that was the rubbing, the fact that he just scored 2 goals and helped us to that 3-0 win. But he still persevered, and it was nice. And also what it does show is we've got an injury to Stansfield, which hopefully doesn't keep him out long. But even if he's out for a few weeks, we know we've got a man there that can put the ball in the back of the onion net. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all down to.
I think also as well, Ryan Allsop needs a shout out, and obviously Stocko as a goalkeeper yourself, there can be unsung heroes. I played in goal myself as well years ago, and obviously not to the level you did, but I had trials for Shrewsbury as a kid when I was about 13. I decided that I thought I could play out as well, but I couldn't. I just decided to stop playing in goal after I let 7 in one game, but if it weren't for me, it would have been about 19. And I just kept getting reminded of a couple of soft ones I let in. So I just thought, I remember my 13-year-old self thinking, this ain't for me, you know what I mean? I think I'd rather play out, because you can be a striker up front, can't you? And you can miss 4 open goals and score right at the end and still be a hero, But, I managed to play Sunday League out, but that was about it. But, I just want to say, like, Ryan Allsop is, getting better and better and better every single game. And we look like a solid unit at the back. And in that first sort of 15, 20 minutes before we scored, they had a couple of chances, didn't they? And that one deflected shot he managed to save. And, if we go 1-0 down, it could become a very different game, couldn't it, Claire?
Yeah, I think as well, like that save against Blackpool was outstanding as well. I mean, their goalkeeper made a worldie down to his left, like you couldn't see it from Hansen. I do think his passing's got better as well. I think he's finding the space and finding a little bit more range with his passing. He still does make me a bit nervous when we play Stockport. He was trying to do it where Alfie May came towards him and he was trying to pass it for May to flick it on, and it just didn't work because they just could see it all the time. So I do think sometimes he does need to think about it a little bit more, but the range of passing, the angle he gets, some of them against Blackpool were brilliant. So fair play to him, because I know that we were saying some things before the Christmas break going, is he the right one? But I think he cemented that number 1 spot, to be fair.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll have a problem going into next season in the Championship either, with him in goal either, to be honest. I think he's definitely a top 6 Championship goalkeeper, do you think, Stocko, yeah?
Yeah, I was with Rocky at Wickham, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know the passing, I know everything. He will get better as games go on. He was... When me and him were kind of swapping, we couldn't get like a roll going.
Okay.
Eventually, I did before him. That's the only reason I stayed in. But when he was on a roll, when we got promoted in 2020 at an empty Wembley, he was magnificent.
Yeah.
And he went to Hull. He went to Hull when they were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Doing well. The Hull fans loved him.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened, but there you go. That's the level that he can play at. So like you said, I think you're right. He can. And I know Alfie may as well. So, and like you say, you have got someone, you're not going to get it off him all the time, but you will get heart. He'll run around. He knows, might not get a chance here, but he'll run around. I'll give you everything, even if I'm having a crap game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we'll get one chance and he'll score.
Yeah. And as for Laird, Claire, that's all I'm asking for. If he can play like that, 1 in 2 games, let's say, 1 in 3, I'll be happy with him, because that was the only thing he was lacking, was that final ball, that final delivery. He got into the position so many times, over the games he's played, and that final ball just let him down. But it all came together on Saturday, and my God, he was unbelievable, wasn't he, Rob?
Yeah, I know. Like I say, he had his best game for the club, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was absolutely perfect from him. If you produce that, like I say, once every couple of weeks, and I still think we'll win the league anyway. I mean, going back to the Christmas period, we've had 11 points out of those festive games. And there was a bit of a meltdown about it. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, we had the audacity to draw 2 games. I know everyone's got their opinion, they're entitled to it, but I just think some of it was especially on social media, was just totally, the gaffer doesn't know what he's doing, and we've been found out and all this. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we will go straight back up.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's happy when they don't win. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I mean, to be fair, even at the Blackpool game by us, there's people almost having punch-ups about it. It's absolute nonsense. I don't, I mean, I tried to go over as peacemaker, but they just threw me over. They did same old year. No, but seriously, I mean, going back to Alfie May as well. I mean, I can't believe Alfie's never played. He's never played in the Championship, has he?
No.
And that's unreal.
I said that on Saturday. You know,
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, Paul. I remember last season in the one of the FA Cup games on telly, and he scored. I think he scored a couple against. I think it was Cray Wanderers or something. Yeah, but you could just tell back then. I remember thinking, God, I wish we could sign him because he looks perfect.
Yeah.
And we have done eventually, but no, he's absolutely brilliant. You know,
he reminds me big time of what Kevin Phillips was like when he was at the club. In the fact that he is a workhorse, but he's in the right spot at the right times to put the ball away and to actually come back to Chris Davis's comments as well around him. He actually turned around himself and said he may not score goals, but his work rate is phenomenal, and because of that, he applauds him every single time because he knows that he's going to go and give everything for the team when he's playing. And I think we did miss it a couple of times across the festive break, but I did put that down to tiredness. The midfield going into Saturday, God, that really concerned me. But where Paik and Iwata get their energy from? I just love to know. And I'll tell you what, whatever food regime they have got installed at the club, they want to start selling that to us fans because I'll take up on it because they are just phenomenal. And that ball to Laird for the second goal, wow.
Yeah, stunning.
It wasn't just the positioning of it. It was the fact of how we put the spin on there. Everything was just perfect. And we did lack that for a couple of games. But you know what? You know, to go back on what Mark said, the meltdown was just daft. The keyboard warriors needed something to whinge about. Unfortunately, prior to those two games, there was nothing to whinge about. Now, you know, we drew. But did those keyboard warriors come out the weekend? No.
I'm not going to lie, Craig. I wasn't happy even before the Blackpool game when I saw the lineup that Williamson was on the right, May was in the 10, Dyke was up front. You know, I'm never happy when I see that because I know it doesn't work. You know, we've seen it enough times now, tried it enough times, and I didn't think he'd ever do it again after he changed it, after we lost at Shrewsbury. You know, but he had to do it against Blackpool. He did it against Blackpool, and, you know, we didn't really create a lot doing it again against Blackpool. And credit to them, don't get me wrong, but I do honestly believe that if we'd have played everybody in their best positions and our best 11, and I know that the games were catching up with us by Blackpool, don't get me wrong, but, you know, if he could have picked his best 11 and they would have been as fit as they were on Saturday, you know, then we would have beat Blackpool, in my opinion, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. So, yeah.
I mean, Paul, with the transfer window coming up, do you think we need to strengthen, or we just leave it as it is?
I'd like to see a right winger. If we can get a right winger in, you know, for, you know, I don't know how much money we got to spend, but it would be good to make a marquee signing on the right. That doesn't mean, obviously, we get rid of Keshi Anderson, though, because he's been outstanding. He's played a big part in a lot of our goals.
You need competition, don't you?
Yeah, you
competition for every place, you know.
Yeah. And then maybe another. If we are going to send Dykes, if Dykes does go back to QPR, then possibly another striker as well. And even if he doesn't, then another striker wouldn't go amiss either, in my opinion. But apart from that, we're pretty done, aren't we? We're good everywhere. And obviously, sadly, because of Buchanan's injury, we may need another backup left back for Cochrane as well for the rest of this season, and then see where we're at with it, you know, come the summer. I mean,
I'll tell you who I would sign, Paul.
Go on, Claire.
Davis and Gardner Hickman. They would be, to me, if we signed them on permanent and didn't get anyone else in, I wouldn't be that worried.
No, I'd be happy with that as well, Claire.
I just think Davis at the back. I mean, you know, him and Allsop look like twins because of the head injury against Stockport. And he puts his head on the line. You can tell why, you know, Liverpool, why he's played higher level as well, why they wanted him and everyone else. And I think, you know, Gardner Hickman, I mean, he played right back, left back, he's played left mid, he's played in the 10, he's played, you name it, he's played it, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's what you need, especially in the Championship. You need players who can play all in the games. I mean, I'm just looking at all the fixtures. We played every 3 days. That's a lot. And I think, like, David, I'm sure you can say, playing every 3 days must be really difficult for the players as well, mustn't it? Especially mentally.
Yeah, it's forever. Like, sometimes your training would be a recovery, but when you go in turnover, it's usually a day off. Then it's game preparation, so it's not really a recovery. So you're not doing as much. But it's that lads in it. Like, look, I never ran around, but when you in goal, concentration, the mental capacity, whereas the lads are running 13 kilometres. 13 kilometres in 90 minutes. And I know people say, I can run a marathon in a day or whatever, but you've got to do that. And it would be you guys or his manager that's saying, why aren't you running 13K again? So when there's a turnaround in players, fans think, oh my God, why are we not playing the best? He could have said to him, Gaffer, I'm knackered. Right, have a rest. If I need you for 20 minutes. And these are the conversations that go on, but you can't come out and say he's knackered because everyone then goes, he's unfit.
Yeah.
But I would not change this for the world, by the way.
No.
The fixture schedule. When people say, Pep, that we're playing 50 game season, at Wickham, I played 55 in one season, getting all the way to the final.
Yeah.
Was I bothered? Not one bit.
No, it's it must be great, mustn't it, to play? I mean, I'd rather, surely, it's better to play the games, isn't it, than train, and I guess...
Yeah, trust me, it is. I know what it's like.
So, I guess any ex-pro or current footballer would say that as well, wouldn't they? That they'd rather be playing in the games than training, and also you'd rather train less and play more as well.
That's what you do. That's what you want to do. That's what you've always wanted to do. You didn't become a footballer to train.
No, exactly.
That's what I say to people. It's like you won't, like Claire, you won't become a teacher to just study all the time. You want to tell people what you've done. It equates to everything in life.
Yeah.
Just because we get paid very well and we enjoy it.
It's like a golfer, isn't it? I guess they'd rather be on the course than on the driving range,
They want to be in a tournament, don't they?
Exactly. Same sort of thing, innit?
But you've got to do the training to get on the...
Exactly.
In the first place.
For it. But I think for me as well, the way that we play now, I've never seen us this fit for a long time.
Yeah.
And, we are running, absolutely wearing our opponents out, aren't we? So, most of the weeks. And I think that did catch up with us, didn't it, after the third game and going into the after the second game and then going into the third and fourth game with the travel as well to Crawley as well, and then coming back to play Burton on Boxing Day. It is a lot for him, I guess, isn't it, in that short space of time with the way that we play as well with such high intensity as well.
Let's also not forget, we played Crawley on the Monday. And I know it sounds daft, but every other team was out there on the Saturday before. So those extra 2 days across the festive break is enough to rejuvenate the batteries. We didn't get that. Thank you very much, Sky TV. But you know what? I still wouldn't change it. It was almost nice to be game, day off, game, day off, game, day off, because you knew what to expect. But we did see the tiredness. But these guys aren't robots. They're not going to constantly go and go and go and go. Everybody needs to have a break. And we finally get to a weekend. I mean, my God, first thing, Saturday was 3:00. It was great to have a Saturday at 3:00. And then, we've got a week now until the next game. So it's plenty of time to have a rest. And it's FA Cup, so we will see changes. And I think the players will have an opportunity to have a little break themselves. And, God, they deserve it. And no doubt Chrissy Davies will be doing that. He'll keep them on top. He'll keep them on their prime as such, but he'll give them the break that I think they all deserve.
Yeah, definitely. But no, I mean, I was there myself on Saturday at Wigan as well, and it was a good away day, and went with my dad and my daughter as well. My daughter's second ever away game. First one was Rotherham last season. And yeah, I think the people up there were very welcoming. It was my first time going to Wigan as well. I've not been to Wigan before, so yeah, it was a really good day all round. It's always good to going away in it when you win anyway.
Yeah. How scary though that we made up a third of the attendance.
I know, yeah.
I mean,
you and Paul?
yeah, that was we discounted Claire this week. But
I was still there, right at the front.
You were. We still heard you. I think the thing is, though, that goes to show the difference as well, and the gulf in those divisions. When we played Wigan, in the Championship, yes, the gate wasn't massively higher, but I'd still say there was an additional 3,000, maybe 4,000 on top of what was there. But then to see the attendance of 13,500 and knowing that 4.5 of that was Birmingham, it shows actually the dire times that some clubs are going through, and Wigan are having a particularly tough time.
We've been. I was going to say, Craig, we've been there, haven't we?
We've been there. We know what it's like. Yeah.
Your ground's too big for you. How many times did we have that said to us over the years?
Yeah, having barriers at the front and different advertising hoardings on the front. God knows how many rows. We've been there with that one as well.
Yeah, now we're getting. Where were you when you were Eartha Kitt?
Yeah.
So it's great to hear that is. But Claire, I felt a bit like Alan Partridge when I saw you. I was like, and he goes, Dan. Claire.
She heard you.
It was just a long drive, and I was cold again. This is what happens. Do you mean?
Excuse a long drive.
Dapper Art says she thought it was.
Right, Craig, when you've done Crawley and Stockport as well.
There is that. I'll give you that. I mean, how many miles have we done, Claire?
I couldn't even remember we had Stockport, which was in the same year. I was like, oh yeah, first away game on a Saturday, but yeah, it was good.
But no, what are you talking, Claire? 3.5, probably just shy of 400 miles across the festive break.
Yeah, I mean Crawley, because obviously we had to start later, so I didn't get back home till about 1 or 2 in the morning. That was fun. And then Stockport was just cold and wet. And then Wigan was just cold. So, but do you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. And I loved my Christmas period, just going football. So. Yeah,
and Rod, was you there? Was you there, Rod?
On Saturday?
Yeah.
No, I was getting my ear sorted. I've had an ear infection.
You only got 2. How do you sort 2 ears?
Sorry?
Hey?
So you only got 2. How do you sort 2 ears?
Hey?
Sorry.
Don't say it, No,
I was having my ear. I've had a bad infection the last couple of weeks. So Saturday afternoon, I was having it microsuction. So yeah, I can actually hear for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Is it better? Is it better now?
Sorry, I can't say anything. No, yeah, it's fine. It's a lot better. So yeah.
Somebody said you were good looking during them 2 weeks. I don't know if you heard.
And Alan, I know you was up in Manchester, weren't you?
I sat with the Wigan fans, and boy, was it cold. There was nine seats between me and the next bloke.
Blimey.
I say, mate, oi! Yeah, it was. I used to work in Manchester, and I saw some things and sights that, reminded me, as I did in Birmingham while I stayed there over the Christmas period. But Wigan, I used to be a big Wigan Warriors fan and used to go all the time. And seeing some of the things, seeing the old ground being turned into a Asda, that almost broke my heart. But yes, I've been to Wigan a fair number of times, both rugby and football. And Saturday was, I must admit, after 15 minutes, I thought, what on earth are we coming into here? But once we put our foot on the ball and started to play, it was wonderful. I was, I echo everything about Laird. He that's how he started this season, and he hasn't done it for 3 or 4 months. But Saturday, outstanding. And I thought Clara was breathtaking. It was like the 2 centre backs. It was like Moore and Joel. They were sensational. Left back again. They're just if you mark it, they've all got 9 pluses. And I'd give Laird the 10.
Yeah.
Just to pick him out. It was so good. And to hear the people around me, of course, the first 15 minutes, they're going at it like mad. And then they slowly got quieter and quieter and quieter. And the second half came along and they're moaning, oh, he's not very good, and he's not very good, and what's he doing? Why is he coming on? Why is he going off? Blah, 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 blah. And it was wonderful. I really enjoyed myself. Great place to, I like the town, and I could go and live there, but it's a lovely place to be, and there's good places to go to. and that was great. Not very keen on the football supporters in Wigan. The rugby fans aren't, so I'm not really. To hear them, go, oh, yeah, we're Birmingham, we're battering you, and then, oh dear, and then you read their remarks afterwards, and they want the manager sacked, and they want this bloke got rid of, and blah 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 blah. But 3:15, they were Real Madrid, and by 5:15, they were dead and buried.
Yeah,
it was just wonderful.
Yeah,
and I tell you, the other game I enjoyed actually was Crawley, obviously being local to me, and I'm dreading thinking, we don't want that surprise to be anywhere but here. And of course, the winning goal was so good. I mean, we can complain, we should have scored more, this, that, and the other. Yes, but we didn't. We got the winning goal, top class goal, well made, and it won us the game. And at the end of the day, well done, Crawley. You had a good game. You only had 2 days rest stuff for your next game, and you got hammered 4-1. We didn't. We won ours.
Yeah, absolutely. But coming back onto Clare, he's just built like a house, and he's just rock solid in every area, and he's so good with the ball as well at his feet. So yeah, really good defender and a great signing by the club, that is. And I think he could grow with us as well, and even go on to hopefully play in the Premier League for us as well, with the likes of Hake and Stansfield and people like that as well. But yeah, do get your questions in as well and comments on the shout box. We will come to them as well. But Stocko, I'll come to you now, mate. Let's go back to obviously the summer of 2017, and obviously we just about survived the prior season at Bristol City, and Shay Adams keeps us up with his goal, and then we obviously get Harry Redknapp in on a permanent basis. And at the time, I was delighted. I thought, great, he's the last Englishman, and still is the last Englishman to win a major trophy in this country, which I think is is shocking, to be honest. We need to start giving more coaches opportunities, but that's another story. But yeah, how did it come about, mate? Because you've just been promoted with Brighton, hadn't you? And I know you played against us in Zola's first game, didn't you, for Brighton as well, when we were first in. So how did it all come about? And am I right in saying as well you was in team of the season as well for the championship as well for that season?
Yeah, I'd been offered a contract at Brighton, but they told me that they were remember Matt Ryan in?
Yeah.
But at the time, my daughter was going into her GCSEs times. And Birmingham offered me 3 years, Brighton 1.5 with incentives and things like that. And it was like, what do you do? And at that time, look, hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? But it was the right thing to do at that time. And that I said it all the way through. That was my only decision. And I seen Chris Hughton about 3 weeks after, and he was like, Stocks. But I sat down with all the Brighton lot, explained my decision, and we had a cup of tea. And then I was going on holiday, and then Harry said, "Come on, I need you to sign now," because I'm going on holiday. So I had to fly back. But the only flight I could get was to East Midlands. So I ended up at East Midlands, and I had to get a driver. So, do you know what? I don't regret things. No. I just learn from them. Yeah. And I'm glad it happened, because going a bit south here, I went into a dark place during them times, but I never spoke about it. And now I can, because it's kind of like a learning process of telling others. And as soon as fans knew, like I was alluding to the comment, he got loads of money off us and did nothing, I wasn't allowed to do anything. Whether or not I was crap, good, like we just spoke about various players not being very good. My first year at Brighton wasn't great. I came second in the Player of the Year both times. Not saying it would have happened, but talking about it now is, I'm so glad the club's been bought. It was the best thing that could ever. I know you guys knew that, but when you're coming into it not knowing full background, and then going into it and going, oh dear. Yeah. It wasn't anything else, but I've never said it, but it wasn't anything else but them, the feeling around the place. It was negative. Not the players so much, because it was a really good group of players. Yeah. Really, and you've seen the lads go off and do different things and go play well. Yeah. So it's not that. I think it's just when your managers are in and out.
I mean, yeah, here's my take on it, right? I was so happy with Harry Redknapp coming in at the time. And I mean, you can probably film, well, you can. I mean, Harry Redknapp, was he on the training ground every day, or was he?
Yeah.
He was, yeah. He was there every day.
And
Yeah.
Although he didn't do as much of the coaching as probably what he used to do, he was vocal. So he would tell you what he wanted. He wouldn't be in the drills as such, if you know what I mean, like that kind of coach, a young coach. But you'd listen because he was Harry Redknapp.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's always been a good manager, hasn't he? You know, he's always done well wherever he's gone, and he's a serial promotion winner from this division. So for us to sack him when we did at the time, and you know, all due respect to him, Steve Cottrell, you're replacing a Ferrari and you know with a skateboard, ain't you? Really, in football terms, with all due respect.
And I need to give a lot of credit to Steve because he came into a situation that I don't think he really understood. I think he went, "Oh, it's Birmingham job."
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? And then he kind of seen the lay of the land, but he was actually really nice. Like, never had a problem with him, and it felt like we were going to start doing something. And I think I always say I don't know this, but I think the pressures from above became too much for each of them. Harry, I think, was like, "Listen, if you're going to be like that, I don't need to do this. Like, I'm at the end, you know." And then Steve was eventually like, "Well, I'm going to end up going here," and you, like, I remember reading some things, and it said about the lads don't want to play for him. No, we was gutted that we was getting manager sacked, so we don't want to do this bad. It just felt like everything was negative because the fans were obviously outraged with what's going above. It felt like you weren't there. You were there. We knew you were there. But because it was all attention was, right, we need to get our club back. It kind of was like, right, we just need that. And now I hear you singing like you do, and the fans, I've seen it like the limbs on when you were at Wigan.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's what you sometimes need when you're in a bad place.
Yeah, 100%. So was you in a bad place when you signed for us, or the season after when?
Oh, it was when everything happened. Sorry,
Harry came in and obviously bought Lee Camp in, and that around that time.
Yeah, it was kind of before that. I was still playing that season when Gary Monk came in, but you know when you get that feeling where I don't think they're gonna. And I went off on holiday, and it was Rob Green actually texted me and says, "Are you leaving?" And I said, "No. Why?" And he was like, "Because I've just been asked to go to Birmingham." So I rang the manager, and he said, "Oh, when you come back from holiday, come in and see me." And so Rob Green told me I won't play for Birmingham anymore.
Yeah, because at the time for me, I think, you know, Lee Camp, he did well for us, Lee Camp did, but it felt for me as an outsider looking in and as a fan, and I don't know if everyone else here agrees with me, but it felt to me like Monk was kind of forced to make that decision for financial reasons, maybe. I don't know.
I think so.
Because he could only, you know, because we obviously, that was the season we had the 9-point deduction, wasn't it? And it was the season everything just went, you know, Pete Tong, didn't it?
Oh.
Hang on a minute. My son's playing about with me here.
Put another 50 pence.
Bill! Thanks for that, mate.
I'll cut that bit out.
You should have seen his face. He went, "Sorry." Well, that was like my Birmingham career, wasn't it? Like yourself.
Couldn't talk about any better, could he, with the subject we were on?
I'll tell you what, he just went dark place. Yep, there you go. It's like,
Brilliant. Oh, God.
oh, no, you wasn't.
Brilliant.
I can't even remember where we were talking then.
Yeah, I was just talking about the time Lee Camp came in, and you know, at the time it felt like Gary Monk was forced to make that decision for, you know, obviously with Lee Camp coming in and yourself obviously having to, you know, not train with the first team anymore. For me, I mean, as a fan and seeing you playing goal for us and Lee Camp, and I don't know if everyone agrees with me, but I felt you was a better goalkeeper than Lee Camp. You know, and I felt like Gary Monk was forced to make that decision. But that was just my opinion at the time. But what was it? I mean, is that right or what? I don't know.
Well, there was Thomas Cusack there as well.
Of course, yeah.
There's plenty of goalkeepers to choose from, and it felt like a bit of kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
And look, I got on great with Lee as well. So it's not about I'm better than him. That's not our job. Our job is to turn up and train and do the best you can.
Yeah.
But it felt like, and I'll tell you that what the chairman said. I went out on loan to Wickham.
Yeah.
First time, I got 2 man of the matches in 3 games, and the chairman rang Gareth Ainsworth and said I'm calling him back, and he said it don't look good when I'm doing well out on loan. And this is
Wow.
these are the things that people don't know. But now I'm getting old and things. It's things that I feel like it's fair to say people should hear because and people who met me knew that I wasn't a bad person. I won't be one that goes, I don't give a toss. I'm do what you want. And then I went on loan to Coventry. The lads called me Wonga. It was a short-term loan specialist. It was quite funny.
I love it.
But I was going places and people, Mark Robbins rang me and said, Stocks, I know you're doing short-term loans. Come to Coventry. I went there, won 3, and then eventually went back out. And then the funny thing was, it was about finances. Then Leeds came in for me, and they was going to pay half my wages. And then if they went up that year, they would buy me. And I don't know for sure, but they rejected it, whether it was the Gary Monk link to Leeds and he got sacked and didn't want me going, and then the chairman basically said, I'll ruin your career. So that was...
He actually said that to you?
words.
No.
Yeah, that was the words. Well,
Really?
you know Colin Tatham?
Yeah.
Well, I was good mates with Colin. Like, we got on really well, and he said, I've been told to look through all your social media, see if we can find something.
No.
And he was like,
No way.
It's you, I know you. It's like, you're not going to be that stupid. I was like, you can look through all you want, but you'd be wasting your time. I said, does he not know the rules that if it was before I joined Birmingham, you couldn't find me anyway? But anyway, they were finding things to get us on, and it was all sorts. Like, the security guard at the time, he had a ledger that what time we arrived at training ground, what time we left, if we were late. So we had to be in for 7:30 because the under-18s were there. So we had to be there. So things like that people don't see. And not once did I miss that the whole way through, because that's what I was paid to do. I got told to do that. Eventually, I took the club to a PFA tribunal, and I said, I agree that the manager decides who plays, but I don't think it's fair on me or the under-18s. And we said about the other lads, imagine if there's a 17-year-old or 16-year-old, a Jude Bellingham, training with the 18s, and I come out and clean him out. Is that fair on a 16-year-old boy that an adult like me is training, and it detriments if ever I needed to come back into the team? And it got all the way to the 3rd, to literally, we got a date with the FA and the EFL, and that was the date that, unbelievably, I came back into the squad. It might just be coincidence, but...
So you've gone from, obviously, and I do get why you was in a dark place, mate, because you've gone from, obviously, goalkeeper of the Championship, goalkeeper of the season in the Championship for Brighton, promotion winning, and then, the lure of Harry Redknapp and the size of our club as well.
Yeah.
And that was such an exciting window, wasn't it? Everyone as a fan.
Yeah.
We signed, obviously, Brentford's 3 best players.
Yeah.
Got Hotter. I mean, Hotter was a really exciting signing as well at the time, our record signing as well at the time. And we got so many good players in. And I couldn't wait to get down there and start watching you all play. But, little did we know what was going on behind the scenes. We knew we was being run by a lunatic, don't get me wrong. But we didn't know to that degree. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, and like you say, now that he's sold the club, and I would never be like that if he was still... I wouldn't have probably told that if he was still in charge of the club, because it's not right to add fuel to the fire. But now he's left and everyone's said the goodbyes. And it's like when I brought my family down in the box that was next to the chairman's lounge. Funny how it happened.
Yeah.
The Leeds game. Was it the 5-4?
Oh, yeah.
5-4.
That was over Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously everyone came down to watch, and the chairman came in. Obviously, I told my family, look, you in the Birmingham end. Everybody knew it was my box, so they started celebrating. And to be fair, the fans in front gave it back and I was holding my hands up when Birmingham scored. Anyway, at the end, obviously, the Leeds nicked it, and I was like this. And to be fair, my family didn't really celebrate because it was last minute. They knew what was. The chairman came into our box, shook everyone's hand, and went like that to me.
Really?
And that's the game. Did you hear
That's
about it when
ridiculous.
he smashed up his box? Remember that?
Oh, no.
Vaguely, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the game.
That's just
Watched him do it.
pathetic. For a man in that position, that's just pathetic, isn't it, really? And he got no experience of running a football club, had he? I mean, I don't know what he'd done. Do we know what he'd done prior to when he came to us?
Funny enough, I'm a little bit of an OCD, so I went through the club accounts. I went through his history, and he was in Dubai doing something, obviously in China, running like I think he was in Spain running like a third tier team or coaching academy. I went through the accounts and him loaning money to buy a car from the club. And this is what I did in there. When I spoke to him, I said, look, you think we're all stupid? I've just been through this. I like this stuff, and look what I found. So we got into another argument.
God.
But it became a thing where I weren't going to let him ruin me when he's ruining something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was 2.5 years in. And I went in to see the lads at the time, and it was Dukey, and I said, look, I need to go and play, lads. I'm going to have to be a bit of a div. And it's nothing against you guys. And do you know what they said to me? It's about time. This is the players in our squad. They said they can't believe you've lasted that long.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I used to go in the change room and say good luck to the lads before every game, and what people don't see. I didn't need to be a div in the end. It was a lot more just bravado. Let me go then in the middle of the canteen to the chairman. And he's like, come to my office. I said, no, we'll do it now. So then everybody can hear what you say. He actually, what happened was he needed a win. So I think Wickham offered 800 quid a week towards my wages. And he said, no, I want 1,500. Otherwise, you're not going and you'll just sit there. So I paid out my wages, so I deferred the rest of it out of my wages. And then I went to Wickham and we got to the playoff final, and he made me sign a waiver. So after, severance pay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So he made me waiver that to be able to be involved in the final. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I gave away a lot of money to be involved in that final. And what Wickham said to us was, don't worry, we'll win it and you'll get it back. I didn't know, but that's the feeling how Wickham was.
Yeah.
You'll be back when we win. And I signed it straight away. But the point was, that's how they leveraged it. Like, we won't let you sign on for them if you don't. The club saved money, that's fine. No worries, I got no problem with that. But just the way they did it, it was like the last stab in the back, and it was like fine.
Yeah.
To be honest, Dave, did a lot of the players have to bite the tongue when they were around him, or did you send on sort of let rip on him?
Not really. Like, everyone it's the CEO at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Guy, you never wanted to be disrespectful. And I don't think I was disrespectful to the point where everyone goes, oh my God. But it got to a point where I had to say something in front of everyone. It wasn't like, oh, I'm the big man. It was just like, I think everybody knew that I'd had enough. You go through times where, like in hindsight, would I have been there still? Would I have done something different? No, because I did everything I should have done. I kept my mouth shut, came in on time, and I go back to the Twitter comment, I can't do anything if I'm not allowed to. I went in. Do you remember the Leeds game? 1-0.
Yeah. Magoma win it?
No, Leeds away.
Oh, away. Sorry.
1-0. Phillips scored. Lee Camp. Was it on Sky?
Who scored, sorry?
Calvin Phillips scored against Lee Camp at Ellen Road.
Oh, okay. Right. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember it because it was Leeds, and David Davies was sat next to me, and he went in, and it was one of them questionable ones. Should he have saved it? And David Davies looked at me, and I was like, and he went, when are you going to get it? You're never going to play for this club again. And that's when it clicked. So I went in and said, look, to Pep, like, look, things haven't been going right. I've waited a while. Am I going to get a chance to try and redeem or at least do something about it if I'm going to change your second choice? That was the Tuesday. The Friday, I get called in. I'm thinking, I might get a chance here. CEO says, we're taking you out the squad. Who plays the next game? Connell Truman.
Remember that now, yeah.
Nobody knows what, and everyone's like, where's Dave Stockdale gone?
Yeah.
These are the things that you don't see. The fact that Pep was like, you're going to have to go see the chairman. Oh, dong. Ding dong.
It was more of a personal battle then between you and the chairman at the time, really, wasn't it? Rather than...
I think so. And you've just got to be, even though I went home and might have sulked and dark times, you don't do that. It, like, when you're in there, you're meant to be a strong person. And I've still got friends that were there before, and people could see it, you know. As soon as that happened, it was like the end. You knew it was the end as soon as that happened. So, and then you're not really evolved. So I knew that, and I think Pep was very much getting told. Like,
I think as a fan, mate, I think looking at Dong as an outsider looking in, I think he come across as though he loved himself a lot. And I think if he was an ice cream, he probably would have licked himself, wouldn't he?
Dunked himself in chocolate so it tasted better.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm sure I speak for every single one of our thousands and thousands of fansies that we're so glad to see the back of him. You know, I mean, did I hear some sort of crazy story about iPads as well? Did he when he giving the players iPads or something as a saying it was some sort of an incentive or a bonus?
Chinese New Year.
Say again.
Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year.
Chinese
We all got iPhones.
iPhones, was it? Right. Okay.
Yeah. And the free Chinese New Year, your P11D comes and your benefits in kind, it's on there.
Wow.
And who was the player? He went, what's this? Because he wasn't even there, he was on loan. He said, what's this on my P11D? He was like, that's your iPhone. He went, I didn't even get one.
Wow.
So yes, when I seen that story come out, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just no wonder the club was falling apart, isn't it? You know, and you know, there's a part of me that's angry, and I'm sure I'll speak for everyone as well, that, you know, we're putting our money into this, we're giving up our time to go and watch this as well.
You must have been laughing.
Yeah, yeah, and for me, back further as well, it's not just Dong, it's also prior to Dong as well, and since Carson Young came in, you know, it just feels like me and my dad have wasted 12 years, and my dad isn't getting any younger, you know what I mean? And we've seen Premier League, we've seen us be, you know, a mid-table Premier League team. We've seen us win the Carling Cup as well and get to cup finals prior to that. And, you know, I want my daughter to experience that now, but I also want my dad to see it again as well. But, you know, it's kind of like we've wasted that possible time, I think, where we could have done it again, if you know what I mean.
And that's what I said. I think somebody called, I think it was lower down about the general owners and directors test. Is it good enough?
No.
No way.
No.
Like, people say it's stringent.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. If you probably ask your owners now what they had to go through, I bet now they had to go through something a lot more strenuous.
Yeah.
And they've gone, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Anyone who says, oh, I'm not sure about that, hang on a minute. Why are you unhappy showing us your proof of funds or whatever? It's like a house. You wouldn't say to the bank, hang on a minute, I know you want my proof of funds for deposit, but can I just show you it on a screenshot? It's silly things that I hear, and you hear it all the time in football. And now that I've kind of come out of football, you can kind of tell people experiences and stuff. But
what is the future like for you now then? So what's on the? You obviously want to get back into management as soon as possible since your stint at Blythe Spartans, or?
Yeah, well, it wasn't something I thought about, and I went to help a friend of mine, Steve Howard, and I was assistant to Nobby Solano, and I really enjoyed it. Just it gave you the buzz of being out on the pitch with the lads training and getting involved. And they sacked him and said, "Oh, do you want to do it?" I was like, "Okay," and I really enjoyed it. So I think I've got on some coaching courses.
Yeah.
Because it was never a thing that I thought about until you do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just about to finish a university course with a PFA, sporting directorship.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So that finishes in September. So that'll have been a 2-year thing. So yeah, I definitely want. Everyone said you lost without football. So over the Christmas period, I was just watching football, and everyone was like, "You don't usually just watch football like that." And it could have been like, I did watch Birmingham Shrewsbury actually just before. And people were like, Birmingham, Shrewsbury. What you didn't use? I miss it.
Yeah.
You do, and people can't. When you've been in something that long, that's all you know. People are like, you need to go back to football, do something.
Yeah, because am I right in saying you been in a couple of England squads as well, haven't you, over the years?
Yeah, I was in the England squad for a year.
Yeah.
2010, 11.
Yeah.
11, 12. So if Capello had been in, I think I'd have had a good chance of going to the Poland Euros.
Oh, okay, yeah, in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Joe Hart was our number one then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just after he played on loan that season.
Yeah.
But, so you've gone to the very top, haven't you, really, at Fulham as well? But it all started for you at York, didn't it? Is that right? Yeah, in 2000. Yeah. So where were you first spotted as a goalkeeper? Who sort of spotted your talents to start with at the beginning?
So I was at Huddersfield 12 to 14.
Yeah.
And I got into that thing, where you were going around clubs trialing, and it just went. My dad said, just go play with your mates for a year. And at that point, you're thinking, oh, well, that's it then. Playing with my mates. What I didn't know is my dad was, back in the day, writing round clubs and sending letters.
Okay.
Anyone he could get to after work, anywhere that he could get to in reach around Yorkshire, he would. And it was York City that just said, we need a keeper. Can he play at weekend? And I ended up signing on. At the end of that season, I scored 2 goals in a game. One sub, and it was a keeper. And it was my turn to come off. And then we got an injury. And they went, I don't even remember, Paul Stancliffe?
Yeah, it rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, I think he played for Sheffield United. He was our manager. He was like, just go on and just don't injure people. And I scored 2 and we beat down at them 3-2. I think that sealed it. We'll sign him on as a keeper and see what happens.
Brilliant. Yeah, and Stuart Jones is asking, is David going to do his autobiography? There would be some great stories.
Yeah, there would be some great stories.
I'd buy it.
I don't know. It's not something I've thought about anyway, but I do enjoy going on things like this and throwing a few insights in. And I won't want to... it's one of them where, again, people want to see controversy, don't they? And I'm not a bitter person. And like I said, when I left Birmingham, I got offers from all sorts of people to say my story. It's like, no, because I don't want to sound like I'm bitter or this, that. Because I did things wrong. Like, not professional enough at times. But I made sure I was on time, didn't get fined, stayed within the rules. So you can't be like that. So, but I'm not. People in football know me as a nice lad, and that's who I am. And even now, I want to say bad things about bad people, but I never will.
No. Is it fair to say though that you've gone? The reason why it affected you so much is because obviously you was at Brighton, you was promoted, and then suddenly you must have sort of been pinching yourself, thinking, "How's this happened?" Do you know what I mean? It's all happened so fast.
Yeah. Well, I wasted 2 years because I played the first season. I felt like I wasted 2 years of being able to play. I played 540 times.
Yeah.
I could have made it to 600. And look, that's me looking back now. But would you change it? No. Like, I got to Birmingham City's on my resume, as they say.
Yeah.
People say, I played for some big clubs. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and people look, you there 3 years and played 38 times. I was like, yes, there's a story behind that.
Yeah, I think life is full of good and bad experiences, isn't it? And things do happen for a reason. And I think one day in the future you'll look back on it all and think, well, if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be doing this what I'm doing today, because it probably will set you up for something in your future life that you'll need that. You'll need that experience for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'd like to be that person. That I still get it now, where people will ring me like Mitch Roberts. I spoke to him at the back end of last season because he wasn't sure what to do with a couple of clubs, so I'd give him a little bit of a pointer. I'm not an agent, don't want to be an agent. But I like anyone who trusts me,
Yeah.
So I've been lucky and fortunate that people trust me with things like that and opinions. I don't tell people what to do. I give them scenarios of what could and could happen, because they know that, oh, you've been through this. What did you do here?
Yeah, absolutely. But
there's an awful lot of love
on the
message board.
Yeah, if we can quickly come onto the shout box for a few minutes. We'll move on to the fun stuff then.
Ian Clayton has turned around and said it wasn't David's fault. He was a class act keeper. It was them invisible owners who were running, or should I say, trying to run the club. I've seen videos of where David explained what's happened, and now it's all worked out in the end. Stuart Jones has asked, what was Harry Redknapp really like, and did you sign through the window?
The transfer window, or his car window.
His car window, I think he's referring to.
We did it in a drive-through, so yeah.
Really?
Wow.
No. Harry was brilliant. I ain't got a bad word to say. Kevin Bond as well. And I think it was the time in their career, a long way from his home. I know they were driving a lot. And with things going above, I think I don't know, so please don't quote me on this. I think it was just an end of tether thing where Harry was like, right, I'm done with this. And it just shows you that I don't think he's been anywhere since, has he?
Didn't he go to the national team or something for a bit?
Yeah.
He hasn't really since. No, not probably.
Yeah, not club. No. Yeah, and that's what probably.
Soccer aid.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
That's what he said. It was similar to Birmingham.
Jason Hughes has said, what a gent, very respectful lad, so many reasons to be bitter, but he's the total epitome of keep right on. And I, from what I hear now, just cannot echo that any further. There's then comments around the owner, which at the time, you just don't want to give the time of day to them anymore. Yeah. We've moved on.
Yeah,
you should never have gone through what you've been through. And Paul Sterndale has said that just as the final comment. Nobody should be treated like that. It's absolutely horrific. And I'm so glad that everything is finally now coming out into the open and that you've been able to turn things around. And he's put, thank you, David.
No, look, I tell people now, like the fans and what you gave, like I remember, I won't mention that team's name, but when we played against them and the feeling of playing in that derby, although the result went our way, it was like, yeah, this is what you want. And that was the time where you go, Jesus, I'm playing for Birmingham City.
Yeah.
And you always knew when they were, what was the other game? Was it the Fulham game when we needed to win?
Yeah.
Just the whole experience. And that's where you go, yeah. And that's why I've always been respectful because to every club, but it was like Sheffield Wednesday, like you understand what it means to them people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, the first season, no, I wasn't very good. But am I better than that? Yes. I didn't get a chance. So what? But I tell you what, I always tried my hardest. I was honest. If I weren't good, I weren't good. Yeah, no worries. But it's nice that people now see. And like I said, I might be in crap. Probably was a lot of the time. But who isn't sometimes?
You're pulling off a brilliant save against Fulham at 2-1 to stop it going to 2-2. You tipped it over the bar. It was to your top right. Yeah.
And then I think Kenny had a follow just after that, and that's one of them things where, do you know when people say about celebrating staying up, but the season we had, as in everything going on, it felt like, oh my God, what a relief. The club get to rebuild or whatever they want to do, and we kept them there, and it's like we didn't get relegated, but then we should have learned. We should have learned how many times do you want to flirt with it? And again, it happened till these have taken over, knowing, look, this has got to happen. Something's got to happen. And the club of that size, they're not stupid, the people who have taken over. They're not going to go and buy a Crawley. That's no offence to Crawley fans.
No.
Look at the club. It's like Sheffield Wednesday. If that ever came up for sale, I'm telling you now. And that's what I've said. They'll start going that direction. Birmingham, no problem. I hope you and Wickham go up, obviously for obvious reasons. But it's like that. It's like you need them clubs. When they say about Leeds going up, I say yeah, but if you're not good enough, you can always get relegated. Look what happened to Bolton. Look what happened to Southampton.
Yeah.
I understand the old old-fashioned of the Leeds v Man U, the Birmingham Villa. You know, that's where the club belongs. And you see it Sheffield Wednesday. As soon as you get any away team that takes 5.5, 7.5 away, no problem. That's what you want.
It's sod's law, though, isn't it, that we finally get rid of them and then we get new owners and we go down. But I do think that...
Is it what you needed, I think?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's happened for a reason again, and we need to have a reset and change that mentality to winning more, you know, and that's what we're...
And like I was going to say this, but I didn't want to butt into you. Like Claire was saying, would we have taken the points? And everyone's angry because you're not winning.
Yeah.
Look at this atmosphere now that I've just explained. Would you rather have the championship or this atmosphere, being able to take that up there, knowing that you'll get the backing from the owners? You know what they're all thinking. You know what Craig Gardner's thinking. You know they've all got the right headspace. You've got so many exciting things coming. Everything is geared up, but you can't do anything with a club until the team gets there. No. The most important thing at the football club is the first team.
Yeah. Have you seen how
women's?
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been to St Andrews recently at all? Have you seen it? What they've done to it?
I don't know if I'll get let in.
No, you will. You're welcome.
No, you will.
Even some of the guys have said on here, you know, you need to come down and sit in amongst us fans, but you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear the song again, like live, because my kids knew the song. You know, they'll hear it on the thing and they'll know that it's Birmingham.
Yeah.
David, you need to have a look through the comments, the live comments on YouTube and Facebook when you've finished. There's no negativity whatsoever. I can't find any at all. There's a lot of love for you.
Because we hadn't spoke about how I played, that's why.
But no, you know, it's for me. You know, we can move forward now, and it's all geared up, as you say, for a bright future. But what they've done to St Andrews in the last sort of 18 months is phenomenal. It really is. It's like a different place together. Yeah, I did need it. Yeah, that's an understatement.
And that's what I always say. An owner comes in, first thing they did was say, this is what we're going to do, and did it.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter if they'd spent £1 million on the stadium or 10. If they'd have said, we're going to spend £1 million on the stadium, do this, this, and this, and then did it, you fans would go, right, okay. Just because they can spend more, and they did, this is what I'm going to give you. This is what I'm going to give the team.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. You've done it.
Yeah.
You can't be held, they're going to be held responsible, but they've gone, we've done what we've said.
Yeah, exactly.
It is getting promoted.
And David, there's been a couple of questions that have come through. You don't have to answer this one, but they just basically mentioned that you've mentioned on a couple of occasions how the dark days set upon you.
Yeah.
There's a lot goes on at the moment around what clubs do to support players. And it sounds as though there wasn't much, if anything at all, there at the club at the moment. But I know things have changed in terms of the way that they deal with mental health of players, of staff, the whole thing. And the foundation is doing some sterling work as well at the moment. But what did you do? Where did you get that final kind of push from that helped you get through it? And the question that's been asked is, if there was one piece of advice that you could give to anybody out there that is suffering, what's the best thing they can do?
Firstly, I'm a big advocate for mental health. And look, we're talking about men's football, but it's any football, any sport, any walk of life. And it's talk to someone who you trust, or someone who you think will listen. So I was lucky when I went through, because I was a nice person and had a good rapport, like Colin Tatum, used to go and speak to him. We'd sit there before training, chat about all sorts. His son playing, I think he's doing well now.
He is, yeah.
So there was like upstairs in the office, the secretaries. I used to go and speak to Steve Spooner a lot, Paul Robinson in the back office, the two lads that did the scouting. And the academy, it was all about just going in there and having a cup of tea. To them, it's like, just Stocker. But I'm kind of, I can't believe this has happened. And like, look, keep going, you know. It's me just ranting, not saying, but I can't believe that. Look, Stocks, look, it is what it is. Come in here tomorrow. I'm going there tomorrow, and then you're talking about different things, and you get to know a lot of people, and the physios, Hunty and Pete, and Egg, as we know him as, the masseurs, especially when we got told we weren't allowed to go into the changing room tunnel where the first team got changed. We had to use a different physio. And that's where I got to know quite a lot of the women's team. So we was using the same physio room as them, which at the time we was like, is this allowed? But it then became, we'd have a laugh. Like with the women's team, you actually got to know what they were doing. You'd actually look out for results. And then it was like, surely why are we so separated? Why isn't there some sort of crossover? And then when I was with the under-18s, Catrianne Berger trained with us, and Hannah Hampton. So that I found that really interesting. You're like, oh wow, this is good. And then we're asking questions. So what I'm trying to say is, being in and around people that can see not what you're feeling, because they can't always see it, but you know when people you just say, something weren't right there.
Yeah.
They weren't the self. Just ask them. I do it now all the time.
Yeah.
So you're okay. And a lot of people might go, yeah, sorry, I was just thinking, no, are you sure you're okay? I'd rather someone say, shut up, you idiot, than the worst that can happen. So I'm a bit like too forthright now. And people will be like, what? And I'm a bit like, no, I was making sure you're all right. So I'm hoping to do something with the lad at York Knights. He was at the rugby team while I was at York City. I got to know him well, and he's moved to the head of Menfulness. Have you heard of it?
Heard that? Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so he's the head of that. He started that with his group of mates because one of their mates died, so they started a podcast, and then it's become a charity. So I'm hoping to do some work with them.
Brilliant.
I spoke to it on a Sheffield Wednesday radio about the importance of, like, I was lucky because I could go home, I was doing okay. But I was saying to people, like, it doesn't matter how much money you earn. If you're not happy, it doesn't. I'm earning hardly anything now, but I'm happy. I'm content. Like, you have to get over, it's not my time anymore. I'm happy. No money. As in, no money coming in, because I'm choosing not to work or doing licenses and uni courses. But I'm happy.
And so, isn't it? Life's too short to be anything but happy.
And that's why I keep saying, like, we're all talking about football over Christmas, but did you go to football with your loved ones?
Yeah.
Nothing better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Football's just a source to do things with people you love.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's my daughter's first season as a season ticket holder as well, which is just amazing. You know what I mean? It really is. I'm so happy that she's got into it, and
I'm glad she's got into it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
More than 5 years ago.
Going back to mental health, though, the mind is the most powerful muscle in your body, isn't it? Also, at the same time, it's the most invisible. So, like you say, it's an invisible. I'll call it illness. It is an illness. It's an invisible illness. And if you break your leg, you get so much more sympathy, don't you, than if you've got mental health problems, because people can see.
I'm sick and tired of people saying, what's wrong with you? What have you got to be worried about?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Not what they're worried about.
Yeah.
Like, it could be, I don't know, I've finished a job off because it's me.
Yeah.
The amount of times, what's he got to be worried about? He's a footballer on loads of money.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was in the darkest time.
Not the be all and end all, is it?
I'd say, have the football, have the money, and I'll have the happiness.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
Because I can always make more money. I can always play football somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's where people don't understand. And my daughter's doing a psychology assess, whatever it is, and she's read a stat out about how many suicides and things like that. And especially this time of year, I wish I'd have got it now you've mentioned it, because it was a good piece that she's done.
Yeah.
But it's so important nowadays, and the little things, and we're finding out more and more about illnesses and ADHD, and just the inclusivity. I did a paper on EDI and safeguarding, and until you actually look into it, because I'm fortunate enough to not have any of those things, you don't really know. And you look into it and go, oh, wow, it makes you more educated.
Yeah.
one thing I will say is educate yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm not ashamed to sit here and say I've been there. You know, I know what it's like as well. My daughter sadly had leukemia. She went through 2.5 years of hell with it, but she's great now. But going back then, it was a dark place. You know, and you're just thinking, why her, why us? You know, and I was just in a world of self-pity and anger, and I had all sorts of emotions going through me for 2.5 years. But this is not about me. I'm just saying about like why I was there as well at the time, you know, and it was really hard. But, you know, we got through it.
But again, one of them things where you were so much about it not being about you, but at that point it was.
Yeah, but it was
so don't take it away from yourself.
It was my daughter, and you give anything for it to be you instead there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said is, people are, and this is education, you said, but it's not about me.
No.
Yeah, your daughter's in that situation, but look at you.
Yeah, I know.
Someone could have helped you, it would have helped her.
Yeah, exactly.
When you say it's not about me, it's about the person that's suffering.
Yeah.
So whether it be you, your wife, daughter, whoever it is on this channel, if anyone, and the fact when you say I'm not ashamed, why should anybody be ashamed?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ever. Man, woman, child.
Yeah, if no one's affected by certain things, then you're not human, are you? At the end of the day,
everyone is.
Everybody's affected by different things every day.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're a liar.
Exactly right. Yeah, some people just don't like to, talk about it because they're either nervous about it or ashamed or whatever. But there's no need to be at all. Always speak out.
No, you'd speak out if you seen a man hitting a woman on the road.
Yeah.
So how do you know she's not going? And then you say, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And if she said, "No, I've got mental illness," you wouldn't say, "Oh, are you ashamed?"
No, a problem shared is a problem halved, and there is no better time to say it, to everybody. And Claire's put it on the message board, but I'll say it now the same as everybody else has said it in the past. To anybody that's out there that is struggling or just wants to talk, give us a shout. Speak to absolutely anybody. Speak to a stranger at the train station or at the bus stop, just somebody you're walking past, because that can be the difference between people, unfortunately doing things that they never wanted to do, or just having 5-minute chat can stop them and sway them away from that. And the club have got a fantastic setup, and a lot of work is going into the foundation, part of which is supporting people through different times, and they're again there to support and listen where needed. But also, it's just fair to say that a 5-minute chat and getting it off your chest makes you feel 1,000 times better. And we've all been through. Paul's mentioned his daughter. Chris has been through his health scares. Mark's been in prison. No, it's just a joke. But we've all been through it at times where we've just wanted somebody to kind of have a shoulder to go and have a chat with, and and things like that. And the comment that's just come through on the message board is from Steve Kimberley, and he's just put, "Stocks, you've opened up so many people's eyes into your struggles, and may I thank you for all of your honesty. You are a top bloke, mate. I know it's not easy to say, but you have said what you've said, is total respect." And Chris has mentioned already about going through and reading the message board. Please do, because so much love there for yourself. And I'll thank you now before we even get to the end, because your honesty has just been incredible. And to open up, and for fans that are watching now or going to listen back to this and watch back on this, it's going to be a shock to a few. It's not going to be a shock to others, because we all know how badly that club was run. We're in better times now. But the one thing I will say is, come back, because we've all said it. The fans are saying it on the message board. We need to get you back down to St Andrews. Yeah. And
come back fan
of the day, mate.
Come and have a look at our new Lampard.
Especially if you pay, Dave.
Hey, we've got a home game coming up. And again, I think could be prime for yourself, and that's Wickham.
Wickham,
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's make it happen.
it's not like sticking it in, you know.
Great, we can get him a ticket down Arrow. You can come and join us and stand at the back. No,
You are not wrong. Come and join the lads in the Tilton, as they say, and Clary's an honorary lad, so we can say it.
Yeah.
I was going to say as well, I'm pleased to say that Chris has agreed to do Fergie time by another 10 minutes.
Yeah, we got another 10 minutes. Yeah.
You're on till 10 past 8. Stockdale.
Yeah, I'm always all right. I'm too laid back not to. That's what my father-in-law says.
Well, I want to follow that up now with the fun bit. So what we've done is we've recorded a player that was in the squad and signed around in the same window as you. We've got a player talking, and we call it "Who." You know when we make a song at the Blues,
Paul. No, sorry, I haven't got it.
You ain't got it?
No, I haven't got it. No.
One job.
Oh,
You've
no.
only got one job.
It
Sorry.
was anyway, Chris.
It didn't.
Hang on. I'll do it.
For some reason, it didn't upload for some reason. I've got the Barnet too.
Oh, go on then. Do the Barnet then instead. We've got players' hairdos that you played with as well. We want you to tell us what they are.
From Birmingham, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think these are easy as well.
Right,
So-
Craig or Claire, can you just share your screen on the? Can you show Stocko your phone on the screen?
I don't know if-
Yeah, let me get it up.
Also to our viewers,
I don't know if you can.
can you make that out there?
First one. Oh,
Who's on the left?
I'm torn, you know.
I thought these were easy.
I want to say Jonathan Grounds when he had the haircut.
No.
Not John.
Oh, Dukey.
No. I can see why you said Dukey. No, it's not though. Sorry.
Couldn't you just give me an afro or something? Thin it down a little bit. Hallidine.
Yes,
Well done.
on the left. And who's on the right?
I think they're struggling on Facebook as well, and YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah, you've proper snookered them with this one.
Yeah. No,
and me
it's-
and Sue.
Say again.
And Sue.
No.
He was bold.
Hair transplant.
That's before he came to
thinking about
Blues.
him at Middlesbrough. He must have been upside down with his beard.
Is Michael Woods right with number 2, Chris?
I'll let you go.
No.
I'm having notes now.
Hang on. So just as a clue, Stocko played with this player, so he didn't. It's not like Michael Johnson or Emil Heskey. So this Stocko played with this player, and he was a winger, and he was on loan at that season that you played.
A winger on loan.
Yeah, and he was pretty good.
Jesus, you're testing me now.
If I say the next clue, it'll just give it away. I think loads of people will get it if I say my next clue.
I think you might have to, Paul.
Scored a worldie at Sheffield United.
What that I played in?
I'm sure you was playing in it
We
yesterday.
won 1-0.
1-0.
The goal.
We won 1-0, didn't we?
Yeah.
Still don't know.
Right foot shot, cut in, top left-hand corner.
Michael Woods has definitely, I think, got it.
Yeah.
No, it's not Jeremy Beeler, no.
No.
Pete Taylor's got it. Pete Taylor's got it.
Didn't he miss a penalty at Fulham?
I think he did, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's Jeremy Boga.
Oh my God, yes. Went on to play for Venezia or
Yeah. Yeah.
was
He
it
was a tidy little player, wasn't he?
Sassuolo?
Yeah. He was a tidy little player, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Okay. I'm now going to play this. Okay. And this is the Who. I'm hoping you can hear it.
Oh, okay, I'm going to try.
I want to tell me who this is. And to our viewers.
They're going to be very good. Their bench and the boys will probably come in. I can't imagine they'll play their strongest team, but I'm not the manager, I don't know. But whoever it is, it's going to be a very difficult game. Top level players, and we're all fully aware of that. But as a professional, you want to play in these sorts of games. You want to play.
Get that?
Yeah, got it, yeah.
Any ideas? Another player that we had on loan in that window. It's hard because you got about 17 to guess from it.
Oh my God.
Do you want me to play it again?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go play it again. Just while
Chelsea, aren't they? They're going to be very good. Their bench and the boys will probably come in. I can't imagine they'll play their strongest team, but I'm not the manager. I don't know. But whoever it is, it's going to be a very difficult game. Top level players, and we're all fully aware of that. But as a professional, you want to play in these sorts of games. You want to play in proper games, against the best opposition you can. That's where you get to see what you're all about as a team and as players in the division.
What position?
Right back.
Oh, Carl Jenkinson.
Yeah, bang on. Brilliant.
Okay.
Well done.
Ooh, straight in.
I thought that might have been harder for you to get than Jeremy Boger's hair.
No. I knew the twang, and do you know why? Because he just signed somewhere, and I listened to his interview.
Yeah, but brilliant.
Richard's place for Bromley.
Yeah, I listened to his interview.
We've also asked you to do your 1 to 11, haven't we? Sorry, Alan, was you going to say something, mate?
No. I'm just pointing out that I know the Bromley team very well because my daughter lives in Bromley.
Oh, okay. We asked you as well to pick your 1 to 11, didn't we, from the players that you played with for the time you was with us, and obviously your players to pick from. So what team did you go for? What formation? And obviously, was it 2 managers you played for? Cottrell and Redknapp, is that right?
That I played under Monk to end the season.
Well, yeah, of course you did. Yeah, so it was 3.
For that first year.
Yeah.
My team. Am I allowed to put Bellingham in, seeing as he trained with us?
Is that allowed?
That means he was near enough there, so yeah, why not?
Yeah.
He was pretty much better than us in the games. He just didn't play for us. I went Maxi Collin. Well, Thomas in net.
Yeah.
He can't put himself in. I probably would have put him in anyway. Maxi Collin, Mark Roberts, Harley, and Groundsy.
Okay, that's an interesting one, Mark Roberts.
It's just for his long throw, I think, and he was my roommate as well.
Oh, was it? Yeah, because obviously you got Morrow as well, ain't you, Michael Morrison?
Yeah, he was hard. I was probably going to go 5 at back, so Thomas didn't let any goals in, but I didn't want to be too negative because I had to get Duke in.
Oh, of course, yeah. What are we going 4-4-2?
Yeah, 4-4 effing 2. You basically get my team talk as a manager now. Magoma, right wing.
Good player.
Bellingham, and for me, just what he's done, Craig Gardner.
Yeah.
Okay. He still had it there, maybe his legs were gone, but as in terms of respect and technical ability, I put Jota left.
Okay.
And then Duke and Shea.
Great front 2, that was, wasn't it?
Right. And then there was Clayton, though. But he was like one of them where I played with him 15 times, so I'll put him in a different team.
Yeah.
A different club.
Yeah. And captain and manager out of the 3?
Captain, for me, Dukey. I'm saying Dukey.
Yeah.
Dukey. Manager, it's a tough one. Well, it's not a tough one out of one of them, but because of how he was as a person behind the scenes, didn't do very well. Steve Cottrell, just as a person, as how he was with me and other lads, it didn't go well for him. So it's not based on results and who played the best. It's just how he was with me after things were happening and he found out. So that would be why I went for him.
Okay. It's good. Good seeing. That's good.
Do I need to check the comments now? Don't
worry, they'll repeat you on Twitter.
David, is it on your resume that you played in Jude Bellingham's debut?
It's not, no.
Well, it should be.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah, Portsmouth.
Portsmouth away, yeah.
Yeah, when you had all the kids, I went down to that game, and I think it was just you who was the oldest one out of all of them.
I think I was older than 5 of them put together.
Yeah.
But you're putting him in your team now because you played with him for the Blues.
Yeah. So
He did.
technically it's correct, and I still speak to his mum and dad. I spoke to his dad last week, and we're going to meet up when Sunderland play Leeds.
That's good.
So yeah,
That'd be nice.
we've got together with me and my son, because the thing that I didn't realise when I kind of stopped playing, I'd never taken my son and daughter to a game.
Oh, right.
Playing. And I know there's Tuesday night games and stuff, but it was one of them where there's school and that. But now, obviously, Leeds is our local, but we'll go to any game. So we've been to Man City, Dortmund. We went to Chelsea, Celtic, Aberdeen. Went all the way there to see Joe Hart. So it was like, that's been nice, when you mentioned with your family. So that's been another thing that keeps me happy. Going down to Leeds and I know the lads at Leeds, so it's been really interesting. Like you say, Brighton invited me back. Now I've stopped playing, and you guys have invited me back. Wickham wanted to know if I wanted to go to one of their games. That's the nice thing now. If people knew that you were a nice person, and that I said I always wanted to be known as if I weren't known as a good keeper, at least I was a good fella. Played enough games, but as long as and that's what people in football see now. When you ring in,
mate, you was a good keeper. You wouldn't have got to the level you did in the game if you weren't a good keeper. You wouldn't have been in England squads, would you? Or do you know what I mean?
I've got the mental capacity of saying you should have done better, but that's where you try and lead younger players into what you did wrong, and that's how you should look at it. People shouldn't rest on the laurels and go, like I said, I wasted 2 years. I could have played more. Could have done, but I didn't. So when people are talking about people going out on loan, young players getting, that's where they need somebody. Like, this is why loans managers are about. Somebody who's done that. I know you're going to go and stay in a hotel. I know you're going to be away from home. But look at what it can do to your career, and you'll look back on it. You'll make friends. I've made friends from so many, I think 17 clubs I played for. Most of them loans. But the people that I've met, and I spoke to Mark Robbins the other day, just having a chat, Nigel Pearson, both loan managers that you remember, and they know that you're good. And when you pick up the phone to somebody, you can talk to them. Yeah,
that's good. Good. Claire, shall we do quick fire questions for a few minutes?
We got time?
Yeah, we're going until 10 past, so we've got a few more minutes.
Got 5 minutes. Got to get predictions in as well, don't forget.
What was your worst game as a Blues player? I know which game was my one watching you, which was Brentford away. And you lost 5-0.
Yeah.
And you tried to always play it out from the back because Cottrell wanted it, and then it didn't work. And then Cottrell walked off and didn't acknowledge anyone.
I'll tell you exactly what goal you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
I went out and my foot slipped, and before I could pick the ball up, it bounced on my foot, went to them, and then Mark Roberts tried to head it off. He saved the first one, couldn't save the second. I remember it all.
You haven't got it on canvas, have you?
Yeah, it's Mark Roberts doing it.
What's the best save you've ever made?
Ever?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say probably the Sheffield Wednesday double save for Brighton. I know they'll hate me saying it, the Sheffield Wednesday fans, but that in that season, at that time, the context of going down to 10 men and we came back to win, so that probably made a technical save, but...
Yeah. I just messaged Juki just to tell him that you put him in his 1-11 and made him captain. He said, no way, that's quality, nice surprise.
Yeah.
He made his night.
I always, it's one of them things where me and Juki text once a year, but it's for about half an hour, catching up.
What's the funniest thing you've ever experienced on a football pitch?
The funniest thing?
Yeah.
Probably me playing in goal. Funniest thing? I might have to come back to you on that one because there'll have been something where I go, oh my God. I've had a fair few shouts, like when I got called Barney the dinosaur because I wore a purple top, and I wore a pink, and they called me a toy. Let's just say that was quite funny.
Sex toy by any chance?
Things like that, I loved it. Like people used to hate me, but like me, if you know what I mean, away fans, because I could give it, take it.
Yeah.
If they won, they won. I don't. It's one of them where you shake hands with the fans and
pantomime, innit?
yeah, and that's how you had to be as a goalie, because you kind of got ridiculed when you did it wrong. Like Claire just ridiculed me about Brentford there, but then I went back.
It wasn't you. It was the left back, who I'm not going to say just in case we ever have him on. But it was just the most horrendous game, and it just brings back so many memories. Yeah.
No, I think he got sacked after that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got rid of him. Yeah.
On the coach on the way back.
Yeah.
I've lost where I was. Who's the best captain you've ever played for?
Captain. It's a good one again. Just for the person he was and what he went through, Matt Bloomfield at Wickham. I won't mention that I was the one that gave him the nasty knee injury, that I didn't realise it was me. But it turned out it was. But what he went through and how he got back and amount of times he played for Wickham and now managing, so I'd say him, but it was a tough choice, that.
And the last one, why did you want to be a goalkeeper? Like, who inspired you?
I have no idea. It was one of them things where I think it went back to the old days. Right, we'll put the fat lad in there. People say tallest. I just say I want that. I don't know. It was like, I think it was one of them. Goalkeeper chooses you. You have to be a special kind of person, and he's well known, and he's so true. And even now, people go. I was with Tim Krull and Adam Bogdan the other day, and someone came up to us and was like, "Not standing with you idiots." It was just, well, it's like, we're not idiots, but it's like a few beers, we're having fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Karaoke night and all that. So it's like, I think it chooses you, and I was all right out, but give yourself the best chance, don't you? My son's quite good, but I won't let him go anywhere near them goals.
Right, well, quickly predictions then for Saturday. Lincoln at home, isn't it, in the FA Cup? I'll start us off with 2-0 Blues. Robe?
I think we'll go through 2-1.
Okay. Alan, you coming up?
I'm not, because getting there by I've got to pay double the fee, and I've got to get there twice as early, etc., and I'm going to take a break. I must come to Exeter. That's a couple of weeks later, so I'm saving me dough for that, to be honest.
Okay.
But I think we'll 3-0.
3-0. Craig?
I'm going to go with a 2-0 as well. I think hard fought, both very changed sides. But yeah, 2-0 Blues.
Claire?
3-0.
Nice. Chris?
I'm going to go for a 4-0.
Nice again. What do you reckon, Stocko?
I think Lincoln won't change as much. I know Bailey Cadamarri, the striker, in good form.
Oh yeah, that's Danny's son, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Blue. I was with him at Chef Wednesday. Good player. I think Blues will change. Need to change for obvious reasons and give people a rest. He should have enough, so I'm going to say 2-1 as well.
Okay, brilliant. Well,
the message boards, we've got Michael Wood saying 3-0, Steve Kimberley saying 3-0. We had a couple of 2-0s as well. And just before we wrap up, I've got to say, Stocky, we've had a message from Dennis Bohemia, and he said, you made his kids' day when they both left their match and you got to St Andrews and you were just happy just to have your photograph taken with them. So thank you very much.
Not a problem, anytime.
And there
Brilliant.
we go. There we go.
Hey, well, and was Leeds your club growing up as well? Stocko? Is that right? Was that your team you supported as a kid and that growing up?
Yeah, because I was at Huddersfield and York, I always used to go to their games, so I wouldn't say I was a die-hard Leeds fan, but I am now because father-in-law, kids.
Yeah.
I'm sat in my son's room that's covered in Calvin Phillips memorabilia, so...
Brilliant. Good stuff. Well, we really appreciate your time tonight, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, it's been great. Thanks for having me.
No, not a problem.
No, thank you for coming on.
So we've been the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by MG Logistics. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Claire Gibley.
It's good night from me and a good night from Craig Courtney.
It's good night from me, and don't forget, it is good to talk, so anytime reach out to any of us. And it's a good night from the Coventry one.
That's me then. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Alan.
Thank you very much. It's good night from me, and I just want to say thank you very much to David. I listened to your Under the Cosh interview, and we've actually tweeted each other about all the things you've talked about, and we still don't know what Birmingham City chairman had against you. But God bless you, and thanks for coming. So I'll hand over to you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. It's been good to finally come on because we've actually spoke about it a few times, but I'm so glad you all had a good Christmas and New Year with families. I hope they had good health. You all have good health in 2025. And like Mr. Fixture said, my DMs are open.
Absolutely, yeah. And all the best with the future, mate, as well, and what you got.
Thank you.
And yes,
I'll see you. I'll see you in Tilton.
Alfie, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to message him now and say, if you score at weekend, if he's playing, I might get him to do a crazy celebration, then he's got to go out and explain it.
we haven't got a post that he can swing round at St Andrews now, so we'll have to think.
I'll find something.
Get him to do that for Tilton Talk Show.
Tilton Talk celebration,
That's fun.
If he does that, you know it's come from me.
Yeah, brilliant. That'd be brilliant, that would, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Last but not least, it's good night from Chris Brown.
And it's good night from me. Just me. Good night.
There's blue flashing lights again.
Again?
Yeah.
No. That's just one of my Christmas cracker toys.